Welcome back to the channel. This is your boy, Mr. GoodBuds. We back with another session of Q&A in the garden. You already know what time it is, man. This is when I answer y'all questions straight off Discord. If y'all don't already know how to get y'all questions answered on this segment, go over to Discord. The link is in the description. Go over to Q&A questions channel and then drop your question. I answer all the questions, man. If y'all don't already know, man, we work with all Mars Hydro equipment. I got 3 tents, and then currently we running in the 4x4 the Mars Hydro SC 6500. In the other Veg tent, we actually downgraded to the TSW 2000 just to save some power from the TS 3000 that I had in there. And then in the 3x3, we currently running the FC E 4800. So we're going to go ahead and get into the Q&A questions in the garden. Before we get started, just a quick word from the sponsors, Mars Hydro. Yes, sir. Mars Hydro has everything you need to get you going. They got lights, they got tents, and they even got inline fans to help with that exhaust. We got bar style lights and we got quantum board style lights. Mars Hydro has everything that you need to get you going and have you a successful grow. Everything that they has the perfect amount of power, perfect amount of light penetration to the tent. Everything that you need to get you going, man. I'm telling you, make sure you holler at Mars Hydro. Go on Amazon and you can look at everything that they have, and they have a beautiful store on Amazon. And make sure when you go there, you use the code Mr. GoodBuds, and that's gonna give you a nice discount on everything that you want. Anything that's Mars Hydro, Mr. GoodBuds. Make sure you type that in, man. All right, so let's get straight into it. Let's get y'all the next 10 questions of this segment answered. We're gonna start off with, I'm not sure what this is, a comma or an asterisk. I'm not sure what this is. That's his name though. His question is, what do you think is the best light cycle for autoflowers? Hands down, I think that the best light cycle for autoflowers is 18.6. I have a lot of people argue with me about why 24 hours of light is okay and why it's not. I don't think it's okay because there's no place that you could get 24 hours of light on the earth. So now you do get 24 hours of darkness some places on the earth, but there is nowhere that you're getting 24 hours of sunlight. Now you may get moonlight, but the moonlight has nowhere near the amount of lumens as sunlight does. Not even close, not even 5%. The moon's light is only there just to keep it from being pitch black outside, so you can still see at nighttime when the sun is on the other side of the world. But scientifically speaking, because of the Earth's rotation and all that, there's no way you can have 24 hours of light. And being natural as I am, I like, why am I always looking at the mic, bro? What's wrong with you? Look at the fucking camera. But it's being as natural, and I like keeping things very natural and godly. I like to do 18.6. And being 18.6 forever is unnatural, so I'm already doing something bad, so I like 18.6. Next question. I just got my cover crop seeds. Wait, hold on. Didn't I answer this question? I'm pretty sure I answered that question in the last one, man. I talked about cover crop seeds. I did talk about 18.6. I think I talked about that too. I think I forgot to put my TVs on here. I sure did. Wait, hold on, y'all. Hold up. All right, yeah, for sure. We was definitely saying the same shit over again. All right, so the next question is from SlimCo81. And he asks, on my first grow, I use General Hydro Liquid Nukes. But on my next run, I'm switching to DTE Dry Nukes. Good job, good job. I use an amended soil from a local Amish nursery, so I don't have a feed during veg. Do I need to apply the DT before I flip the flower so it would have time to be broken down and become plant available, or just start amending when I flip the flower? I always start amending when I flip the flower. If your plant already has nutrients, it really only needs nitrogen during that first couple of weeks of stretch. It's just like super flower, super veg time is like what I like to call it. The first 2 to 3 weeks. So I do it the day I flip. I give it that food, and then it breaks it down by times it needs it. It'll still be feeding on that nitrogen that's left inside the soil. If that soil has already veg nutrients emitted into the soil already. All right, next question. Do you have lockouts? Gotta find the right video, and if so, do you use Epsom salt? Yo, he just asked me, do I have lockouts, bro? Hey, it's crazy because I just was having I just was going through. I was just checking the plant for a lockout. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that. I can't even answer the question, because it would kind of ruin the content I got coming out for y'all, in the future. But I actually literally, y'all just got to stay tuned because I can't even answer that question, man. That shit crazy. I just had an issue with a lockout though, and I'll show you how I solved it. I did not use Epsom salt, but you'll see. Next question. Hood jam. I got 7 autos in a 4x4 tent. 7 autos, damn. Is that going to be too crowded? Yeah. The strains are LSD 25 and Jack here. It's definitely going to be crowded, bro. You better flip them. Oh, yeah, they autos, dog. You can't even flip them. Like, you got to wait. It's definitely probably going to get too crowded in there. So, 7. I only do 4 plants. Like, especially you doing autoflowers, they only need like 4 of them in the tent. Now, if you was doing photos and you had control over when you was going to flip them, then you could flip them on like week 2 or 3, and they still get big as hell, man. You literally have to flip them like week 1 for it not to be too crowded. So, because I had some plants, I had some not so big plants, like maybe like a foot tall plant, clone, flipped it in the flower booth. Y'all saw it, and they got pretty big. So, that's definitely too much. Next question from NX5. Do you think I can fit an 8? What? Do you think I can fit 8 3-gallon autos in a 4x2 by doing perpetual grow with only 2 to 3 plants and flower at the same time? Wait, hold on. Let me read that again. Do you think I can fit 8 3-gallon autos in a 4x2 by doing a perpetual grow with only 2 or 3 plants and flower at the same time? How do you do that? I don't even understand how you gonna do that in one tent. You ain't gonna be able to control when the autos are flipping, bro. So you ain't gonna be able to do nothing perpetual with autos. That ain't gonna work. You gonna have to use photo periods for that, and that's not gonna work in the same tent because you gotta have different light cycles. No, I don't think so. I'm not even completely sure on the question, but I'm fairly certain you can't. Just because autoflowers, you're not gonna be able to do anything perpetual with an autoflower. Like, you don't know when it's gonna flip in the flower. They can flip in the flower as soon as you trim your, soon as you take your, I mean, you can't even take clones. Like, you saying you gonna like wait for some of them to. That sounds like a lot of work. No, I'm confused. I'm sorry, bro. That question is hurting my head. It sounds real complicated, and it don't sound possible. Next question. That crazy bitch Aries. Why I just read this shit though before I knew what it was gonna say? Hi, I'm new here. My question is simple. Why don't any grow hydroponics anymore? If they do, where they at? People do, but it's kind of overcomplication. A lot of people are like me; they like to keep things complicated, and it's cool because it's kind of fully automated, but it's a lot of maintenance. I can say it's a lot of maintenance and things that you're gonna have to be checking on. And those things and your plants are completely dependent on that automated system that you have going on. And if it fails, then your plants fail. And that's a headache for me. So That's probably why you're not getting a lot of why you're not seeing a lot of hydroponic grows anymore. But we do got a few though. They do got a few of them out there. It's just really expensive, a lot of work, and a lot of risk. So it's not really worth it in my opinion. It is very fast growth though, but it's not really worth it though. Next question from Hood Jam again. He on this shit down. How many times a week are you watering your autos from seedling to flower? It's not a specific time of week. If you watch the podcast where I talked about watering, it's not a specific time amount of times. I only water when the plants get really dry. And if I see signs that they need water, like they start to get droopy, or I touch the medium and it's super dry, if it's still in a small pot and I can lift it, it's super light, then they get water. Depending on how fast they drinking. When they young, they can get watered once a week. When they get older, they can get watered 3-4 times a week. So it all depends. It all depends. Scoop King, 4 days, bro. Oh, you asking the question still? Well, he asks 4 days after my first attempt to top my plant. Can someone tell me what I'm looking at? Well, what you looking at is a film. You topped it, and instead of growing 2 tops, it mutated and grew 3. It's not an issue at all. It's completely fine. You're gonna have 3 booming ass tops. So it's gonna be cool. I like fimming. Some people prefer the film. The fimming is basically when you go crazy and you kind of it's FEM. Fuck, I missed. You film, that means you kind of missed the top and you kind of half cut it. And that's kind of what happens when you do that. And you can get 3 or 4 tops. It's pretty interesting what the plants can do. That ended up still being a question. That's what's up. I don't know what I'm on. 7, 8. I don't got many questions left, so let's just get it done. Next question from Slim Cole 81. How big of a factor is temperature when curing? It's a pretty big factor. You don't want it to be too hot. And actually, cooler, keeping it in a cool, dark place. Not cold, not outside in the snow when it's snowing outside in the wintertime, but in a cool, dark place helps to preserve those trichomes. So I like to keep it in room temperature. Like my room is usually around 65, 75 degrees. So usually that's most likely where my curing plants are at. But you definitely don't want it too hot because any type of major temperature is gonna evaporate the trichome heads. They actually burn them off. So not too hot, and I would imagine not too cold. But at the same time, you can freeze trichome heads. So I would imagine that being too cold is never gonna destroy your trichomes, but being too hot definitely destroys them, and you lose. That's the big important factor. Not too hot. Next question. If I'm going autoflower, there's a lot of autoflower questions in this one, wasn't it? If I'm going autoflowers in cocoa and perlite mix 70-30 and start veg with Flora series bottled newts, can I switch to down to earth for flower by a top dresser? Yeah, hell yeah you can. Or is this a bad idea? No, it's never a bad idea. In fact, Roots Organic has they have an entire lineup and schedule, or what do you call it? Regimen. That's what you call it. A regimen has dry newts and liquid newts. So you can, and a lot of people use dry and liquid newts at the same time. And if you want to just switch from using, and I did that in flower, I believe for Photo Booth season 1, I think I did something like that, or maybe it was season 2 or something. I did something like that, and with great success. I mean, the down to earth beast mode. I'm not gonna hold you up. The down to earth put you together, so it was looking real good. Definitely wasn't no issues with that. And so the last question from Yogi87. What do you use to raise or lower your pH organically? Now I gotta be a hypocrite because the only thing I don't do organically is pH. Now let me tell y'all something that I haven't even told y'all. I do. Now they do have organic stuff now. I forget what the one company is called that make the CO2 expensive ass CO2 bottles. They sell organic pH up and down. I don't use it. I have some. They sponsored some, gave some to me. I didn't use it. I didn't like they. I don't even remember what they shit called no more. I didn't like they CO2 bottles. It was very expensive. Didn't work well. Didn't barely produce any CO2. But they did have some organic pH. Now something I don't really tell y'all that I use general hydroponics pH up and down, but I haven't. Oh, and CalMag raises pH like a motherfucker too, by the way. And phosphorus, potassium, raw potassium raises pH too. Those things are some of the things that send pH up and down. But I don't ever pH my water. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. My pH is always the same in my house water. So I don't really pH it anymore. I stopped doing it. I went. It's been probably about my last 3 or 4 grows. I haven't actually checked the pH of my water. I went through a few grows. I went through like a year, every single day, being real diligent about it. Checking the pH of my water every single day. And it was always the same thing every single day. Every day. And even then, I wasn't using pH up and down because my pH is always perfectly within 6.2 and 6.8, like where I like it at. And every single time I checked it, it was there. And then I finally was like, why do I keep checking the pH for a whole year? And it's been the same. And it's always been the same. So why continue to keep checking it? So I stopped checking it. And I don't pH my water. I don't be needing to. Not pH, don't get me wrong. And people with selective hearing, listen to me. I'm not saying pH in your water is not important. The pH in your water is very important because it will cause a lockout, which I just ended up. And the reason I'm even saying this right now is because after almost 8 months of not pH in my water, and I believe that I had a lockout on one of my plants. While testing it, I had to use my pH pen and I had to pH my water and check the pH of the water. And guess what? It was the exact same damn thing as it was 8 months ago. And so I was like, there, and it was all good. So I don't really be pHing my water for real no more. And that's why. But it is still very important because too low of a pH or too high of a pH can cause a nutrient lockout. You start getting above like 7.5, 8 pH, way too neutral, not neutral, but way too of a base, too much of a base. And then you start getting real low, 3, 2s, 4s, too acidic. Would you prefer your plants to be more acidic than in a base because they have a harder time in a base environment than in an acidic environment? But that will cause a lockout. So it is still very important. But all right, y'all, man, we're going to get up out of here, man. Make sure y'all holler at the gram, y'all holler at Patreon, y'all subscribe to the channel, and y'all subscribe to the Munchies, man. Make sure y'all go use my discount code to get y'all some Mr. GoodBuds. Get y'all some Mars Hydro shit from Amazon. Man, appreciate y'all, man. We out here.